the factors that we did not pay attention to it before marriage is one of the things that contribute to the disagreement and disputes between husband and wife, because we did not take the advice of the Prophet ﷺ in consideration when we went for marriage. We marry a woman because the way how she talks, or because her wealth, or because her beauty, or whatever other reason that we admire her, but we forget something very important: her religion, the taqwa of Allah. Because if you marry a woman because she is a Muslim woman, she fears Allah, now this will reduce the possibility of divorce a lot, because everything the judge will be Allah and His Messenger. When there is a disagreement or dispute, now we're ready to sit and read the book of Allah and read the Sunnah of Rasulullah and found the solution there, so we don't have to be fighting and fussing and cursing and doing all these things. So I think it's very, very important that we take this in consideration before we get into the marriage.
Okay. All right. Now, normally, like what we do in our masjid is we require that if a couple wants to get married, that they go through some kind of pre-marital counseling where they actually sit down with the imam and, he asks them questions and make sure that they exactly know what they're getting themselves into. And sometimes we receive resistance from that because a person might meet somebody on Monday and they may want to get married on Friday.
Or maybe Sunday, the day before Monday, because they already discussed it between these people before they started the month.
Right.
I don't see anything wrong with this, and in Islam also that recommendation that when somebody intends to marry a woman, he need to look at her, he need to see her, and this one of the things for the person to make sure what he getting himself into. If this is a woman that you want to be in it, so it is proper that the imam to bring both parties and have a meeting in his presence and make both of them aware about the rights of the husband, the duty of the husband, the right of the wife, the duty of the wife, and try to see how much they like each other or what they know about each other. And also if there is any question from the brother to the sister or from the sister to the brother, it needs to be presented in such a meeting. And if there is any kind of condition, that they need to discuss it. So I think this is very wise and very important that the mosque takes this, and this is actually what I do also in my community. And sometimes we go to 2 and 3 meetings, and sometimes, you understand, I always explain to the sister and the brother that this meeting has no obligation on each other. You may meet and discuss things, and after this you say, no thank you, there is nothing wrong with this. So it's not because you sit in a meeting and discuss possibility of marriage, now you have to marry this person. No.
Right.
Yeah.
I think sometimes when people do have that they kind of feel obligated, and then maybe, the emotional feelings of...
No, there is no obligation, and we shouldn't approach marriage in this way. If you are not sure that you want to marry this person, you better back up right away, and it's easier to back up before anything else go further and somebody gets hurt.
Yeah, that's true. Check. And when we were discussing in the beginning, at what point does arbitration come into play? When does the man and the woman say, you know what,
this is the force. This is the fourth step. Okay. Quran had stated in Surah Al-Nisa, Surah number 4, if I'm not mistaken, verse number 34. It talks about the steps that a husband and wife, yes.
That's verse 34 in the Holy Quran?
Yeah, okay. If I'm not mistaken, I don't have the book in front of me, but this surah number 4, and if I'm not mistaken, verse number 34. And there's few steps, so if all these steps didn't work, now we will bring about 2 judges, one from his family, one from her family. Please take in consideration that the family are Muslims, okay? And they will try to help the husband and the wife to bring about some kind of understanding about the problems they're facing. Otherwise, like I said, the imam or a Muslim family, elderly people in the community can play this role in the absence of Muslim members in the family of the husband and family of the wife.
Okay. In regards, this was a question last night given to me by one of the sisters after you had left. In regards to the children,
when the ex-wife remarries, who is entitled to the custody of the children?
Okay, when we're talking about custody of the children, and this is one of the things that comes as a bad result from the divorce, Islam tried to solve the problem, and they try to work all means and all ways to keep the husband and the wife together, because they are not the only one suffering. There is other children, and the children are suffering, and this is also something serious for the Muslim society and the Muslim community. So we have to try to work the problem as much as possible. But it didn't work, so Islam put rules about custody of the children. But the bottom line, who is more beneficial for the children? It's not the husband, it's not the wife. Who can really take care more and be dedicated for the needs and the wants of the children and raise them properly? As a result of this, we find when a woman gets remarried, okay, in general, now her emotion is thinking about serving another man and being there to please another man. Her attention is not going to be that much and that great to her children. Plus, the responsibility that this stepfather, he doesn't like the children or doesn't treat them well. So the next person will be the father of the children. So as long as the woman didn't get remarried, she deserves the custody of the children more than the father. But if she remarried, now we talk about the father will be the one who deserves the custody of the children. But let's say that she didn't get remarried for 5-10 years. Does it mean she will keep the children all her life? Will the children reach the age of puberty or an age that they can depend on themselves, cleaning themselves, cooking a small meal for themselves, things like this? Now, if there is an Islamic judge, he will give the children the choice between the father and the mother, which one they want to be with. And the children have the right to choose.
So, even though we don't have judges here in this non-Muslim community that we live in,
we have the imams. They understand that. Forget to understand, we have the imams in the mosque, and the imams, they have to know about their responsibility, and they have to stand up for their obligation to serve the Muslim community and to see how to be part of the Muslim community life and to help them. And the people have to give them this respect, to listen to them, you understand, especially when they're telling them something from Quran and the authentic Sunnah of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam.
Okay, we're going to take a break and we'll be right back. You're listening to Islam Today. We're here on WHAT 1340 AM, the voice of the African community. We'll be right back.
For up-to-the-minute news, traffic, and weather, listen to 1340 WHAT.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Islam Today. Today is June 28th and we're here, well I'm here, and Abdul Rahim is here, and Sheikh Muhammad Said Ali is here. And we're discussing issues related to family and marriage. We're going to go to the phone line. We have Sister Sharia in Overbrook. Assalamu alaikum, sister.
Walaikum salam. I wanted to know, what is the position that the wali says once the couple is married, once you give the woman...
Turn your radio down a little bit.
What position does the wali say regarding the woman once you give her to the man in marriage?
Okay. Thank you for asking. And wali, some people call it wali, some people call it guardian. The person who represents you or gives you in marriage. Now, living in non-Muslim society, in many cases we found the wali is not related to the woman. He's not the father, he's not the son, he's not the brother, because the sister is the only Muslim in her family, and this is many cases. But this doesn't give her the right that she gives herself in marriage without a wali. So here we appointed, or she will choose and select somebody to be her wali. And as the Prophet ﷺ is telling us that لا نكاح إلا بولي, there is no marriage without a guardian. A guardian has to give you in marriage. And a guardian is not only a person who will give you in marriage, as they say. He has a job, he has a responsibility. Like they say here, the term, they have to check him out. This person who come to marry you, it is the responsibility of your guardian, your wali. If he's related or not related, he has to check him out and make sure that this is the right person to marry you. And as I said again, that even if your father, even if your father is alive but he's not Muslim, he could not be your guardian. This is Islamic laws. But coming back to your question, after you get married, your guardian has nothing to do in your life unless something happens. If I may use this term, this like a spare tire while you're driving. As long as you're driving, nothing wrong with the tires. You can be driving until you go to Mississippi or Texas or all the way to the other end, okay? As long as nothing happened, you did not go and open your trunk and get the spare tire. So after you get married, your wali has nothing to do in your life unless some emergency happens. There is a disagreement, dispute between you and husband. You could not work it, both of you together. Now we need to see if the wali can help us through some kind of consultation. And if the divorce takes place, also you want to make sure that you get your right or whatever Allah had made it for you, and maybe your previous husband refused to give you this right. So this is your job. So during marriage, actually, the wali doesn't do anything.
Okay, so what if the brother and sister starts to have discord in the marriage? Then what?
Again, please.
What if the husband and wife are having discord in the marriage?
This is what I'm saying. There is a step that the husband and the wife, they work the problem on their own speed first, in their own house first. But if this didn't work, all the steps which Allah had put it in the Quran, it didn't work. Now we need to go out of the house. And this is what we say, فَبْعَثُوا حَكَمًا مِنْ أَهْلِهِ وَحَكَمًا مِنْ أَهْلِهَا. Bring about two judges, one from their side, one from his side. It can be the guardian or it can be other two people from the community. But your question was specifically about what the guardian will do after you get married. Nothing until some problems will take place. Now the guardian will try to be a person who bring about a solution, recommendation, and if a divorce takes place, he makes sure that you got your rights, all these things.
Okay, shukran.
Let me ask this question as kind of like a follow-up to her question about the wali, because many times we hear of a sister, she wants to get married, she tells the wali, he interviews the brother and talks to him and finds out maybe he doesn't have a job, or whatever the situation may be. Now the sister's upset because, you know, she wants to really marry this guy, maybe because, I don't know to what extent they may have had communication, but, you know, she goes on without the wali. How does that play out?
I got it. First of all, we have to point to this problem. I don't advise any sister to have a communication with the brother that she would like to marry him before her guardian take care of business, because she'll be affected emotionally by him, by this person. He may sweet talking to her, maybe convince her with something, whatever it is. And you know, we in general, men, we have this ability. We can make women understand, because of nature also, to soften and accept whatever it is. So I think this is a mistake for a woman to have communication with her future husband who she would like to marry him before the guardian talk to him. Right. But let's assume, okay, that she had talked to him before, or she didn't, and the man doesn't have money to support her, whatever it is. The guardian interviewed him. He found him to be a good brother, everything, nothing wrong with his deen, with his religion, his akhlaq, his manner, his trust, his behavior. But the only problem, the man, it doesn't have enough money to support his sister. In actuality, the guardian, all what he can do to advise her, but still the final decision belongs to the sister. What about if the sister, she's a rich woman? And if any rich woman there in the air can hear me, please. My phone number is 000-000, area code 00. So what about if the woman is rich and she likes the brother, or what she wants, understand company, or she likes him for whatever she likes him, she don't care for money. Baby, I don't want you to work. All what I want you to understand, you be my husband, okay? I want you to be my bodyguard. I want you to be my baby, okay? Whatever it is. So the guardian can give the advice, but he could not prevent her from such marriage, especially if the man making his fast-time prayers, he's down, you understand, about the Quran and Sunnah. So he can give advice, but he is not supposed to stop her from marriage.
Okay.
You like this, huh?
I like the rich part.
The part of they're looking for me.
No, I'm not saying that.
Oh.
My wife is listening.
Brother, even if my wife is listening, I'm not asking for something. I forgot I'm in America. Huh? Okay, I have to back up now. Please, any rich sister, don't call me.
We're going to jump right back to the phone line. We have Alice in West Philly. Alicia in West Philly.
Alicia, maybe
Well, he's still there.
I was calling. I wanted to know. I have two questions actually. What do you suggest our sisters do if the children of her husband and like his ex-wife, they absolutely do not like her?
So my understanding that you maybe it has to be you that this woman you're asking about, she's married to a brother which he have already.
Well, it's me actually.
Okay, out of respect, you understand, we don't want to put anybody in the spot.
Okay.
So that means you have stable children. That means from your husband have children from another woman and they living with you and you have hard time to deal with them or things like this.
Yeah.
First of all, I will remind you about the reward of taking care of the orphan, because to be honest with you, children in a case like this, they almost look like an orphan, especially if you don't know where is the mother, or the mother maybe left Islam, or she doesn't care anymore. So if you also have a problem with them and say, okay, later, forget it, I could not deal with this anymore, who's going to take care of these children? So you found a lot of verses in Quran talks about sabr, endurance, patience. So, and how much reward the person, you understand, the Prophet says the person who take care of an orphan, he will be in a closer position with me in Jannah, like these two fingers, the middle finger and the index finger. So focusing about the reward you get as of taking care of these children, focusing about the great blessings that you will be with the Prophet in the day of the judgment, it will make these things much easier in you. Also taking consideration, they are kids, they are adults. And you know kids, they have their own way. Also put yourself in their shoes. They look to you that you are not their mother. Okay? So all these things, it deal with their personality and make things a little bit hard. But I advise you also that you try to be extra nice to them, try to buy them gifts sometimes, candy, things like this to soften their hearts, read the stories for them before they go to sleep, tell them about Quran, about the Sunnah and things like this. And lastly and not least, or least and not lastly, however they say it in Philadelphia, because it's different from South Carolina, try to let their father deal with them more than you, especially when there is some kind of discipline or behavior problem. Let the father, the one who deals with this, because usually a child doesn't like somebody telling him what to do. So I think with these things, inshallah, it may ease the problem a little bit, not to solve it, but at least make it a little bit easier.
Okay. And also I had another...
Hold on for your next question. We're going to take a break, okay?
Okay.
We want you to stay on the line.
All right.
You're listening to Islam Today. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Here's a 1340 AM WHAT Community Voice announcement. If you're thinking about retiring this year, get in touch with Social Security now to discuss your retirement plans. For more information, call 1-800-772-1213. Brought to you by 1340 AM WHAT, the voice of the African American community.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Islam Today. Are you still with us, sister? Hello?
Yes, I'm still here.
Okay.
I just wanted to ask a question about the membership process at the masjid. I filled out all the paperwork and things like that, and I've been attending some of the classes there, but I haven't heard anything
Okay.
from the masjid.
How about you do this? We're going to turn you back over to the engineer,
Okay.
and he'll take down all your information for us, and we'll have someone get back with you on Monday.
All right, sure.
Oh, wait, before you go, did
Yes.
you know that there's an All Sisters lecture that's going on this evening at 1427 Catherine Street? It's entitled The Women of Jannah. And that starts at 6:30. And that's going to be by our brother, Sheikh Muhammad
Sayyid Adli of the Afro-American community.
And this is at 6?
Yeah, it's at 6:30, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's one.
All right.
Oh, yeah. Sheikh, your voice, man, is, you got that cool voice. You say you've been here how long?
27 years.
27 years.
Yes, sir.
And it's deep. It's like, don't carry right deep. Don't call my house. All right.
You're lucky today that my voice is not even clear. Can you imagine if I don't have a sore throat? What you going to do?
Alhamdulillah. Yeah. Alhamdulillah. Alhamdulillah. To let everybody know, if you already don't know, Sheikh Ali was with us last year. He did a number of lectures at the masjid. Alhamdulillah, he's back with us this year, and we have a few more lectures to go. We have a lecture tonight, as we said. It's entitled The Women of Jannah, and it starts at it starts at 6:30, and it's going to be at 1427 Catherine Street. That's the Universal Workforce Development Center. Then after Salatul Maghrib,
And that's for sisters only.
You're right. That lecture right there is for sisters only. Sisters do not worry. There would be no brothers inside of there where you'll be. Only Sheikh Adli.
And we're going to put him behind a curtain so nobody can hear his voice. And we make sure that Jihad's wife is not going to be there. And by the way, we also like to thank the Sheikh for all these tapes that he brought with him and all these books. I understand this is very, very interesting to get some of it.
You didn't give me a chance to get there, man. I was going to miss it, man.
You got it.
And also, he will be with us after Salatul Maghrib. We will have a lecture around the corner at the masjid, and this lecture is entitled Polygyny in Islam.
We're looking for trouble now.
Not looking for trouble, looking to give information, because we find that too many people are entering into this realm of polygyny and they're doing it all wrong. So inshallah today, this evening, we want to be able to give out some information that may help people who are thinking about going into that direction, or people who may be in that direction. And that's around 8:30. That's going to be at 8:30. Then on Sunday, we have a brief talk that Sheikh Ali will give at 1:30 at the masjid. Then from there,
We forgot about 4:30 in the morning. We have a lecture also 4:30 in the morning. This is a blessed time. With the time all the believers supposed to be awake, make a prayer in the mosque, and listen to some information. Because Islam is about education, so at all time there's something to learn.
okay, now you just heard it straight from the Sheikh's mouth. We have a lecture going on at 4:30 after right at the Fajr.
Yes.
Okay. All right. We're going to go right back to the phone line. See, we have a call. We have on line one, Brother Abdullah in Southwest Philadelphia.
Hello?
Hello.
Yes. Assalamu alaikum.
Wa alaikum salam.
This is Brother Abdullah, ex-worker of Salam Lecutre, a long time.
Okay.
Yeah, my question is like for Brother Imam Muhammad Adli. I have like اختلافات في أمر والي المرأة والي أمرها. أيوجد هنا اختلافات أم لا؟
Okay.
This is my question. And second question.
Let's get through the first question first.
Okay.
Repeat the first question one more time.
Yes, sir. هل يوجد هنا اختلافات في مشكلة والي أمرها والي أمر
Brother, we have an English listening audience.
Okay.
English, please.
Yes. Brother, my question is like
Well, let's take Ali.
I got it, Brother Abdullah. Okay. The question concerning the guardian is misunderstanding or differences of opinion among the scholars concerning this. In actuality, we did not take the opinion of any scholars or any school of thought before the hadith, because none of the scholars been revealed to him. The Prophet ﷺ is the one who receives the revelation. So we always have to go to the roots first, the Quran and the authentic Sunnah and the understanding of the Sahaba. The Prophet ﷺ said, لا نكاح إلا بولي. There is no marriage can be acceptable by Allah unless there is a guardian. So this is the bottom line. No nikah, no marriage can be conducted without the presence and the approval, or at least the approval of the guardian. Now Islam also explains who are the guardians, okay? Like a father, like a son, okay? All these people can be awliya. In the absence of a father, can be her son, can be her brother, can be, okay? And in the absence of all the guardians, because a woman just took shahada and she don't have anybody else Muslim in her family, so the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam is saying, وَالْإِمَامُ وَلِيُّ مَنْ لَا وَلِيَّ لَهُ. So the imam and the ruler of the Islamic government, the Islamic state, the head of the state or the judge will be the guardian of those who do not have a guardian. So I don't think we have a problem. The only, with all fairness, since you're asking about differences of opinion, Imam Abu Hanifa, if I'm not mistaken, rahmatullah alayhi, is the one who say, if the woman been married before, okay, and divorced, that she don't have to have a guardian. But nevertheless, the hadith is stronger than the opinion of Imam Abu Hanifa, rahmatullah alayhi. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, your second question is?
Yeah, my second question, is like you talked about like parents, parents is Muslim or not Muslim, you need to obey your parents. This is like relates to my first question, her wali be her father or her brother or her uncle.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's like her wali maybe is not her family, and is Muslim, maybe it's like...
Brother, hold on 1 second, we just got to take a station out here.
ICBC Broadcast Holdings rated station.
Okay, we're back.
That's it. This is why I look is like you look for Quran, you talk about the parents, about the parents is Muslim or not Muslim, you need to obey your parents.
You need to obey your parents, yes, okay, but not if something completely in the order of Allah. There is no wilaya for the kafir over the Muslim. So if the parents are non-Muslims, so now a Muslim guardian has to be appointed because he did not know what is the Islamic rules and regulation, what's required in a husband, what is the duty. So we're going to be making a mess if allowing her non-Muslim father to be the guardian, because he doesn't know about Islam, and she's going to marry according to Islam. But she still has to be benevolent and kind to her parents who are not Muslims. Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
This issue of the wali and the wakil is a very important issue, because sometimes people go around the wali, and then like we have a lot of people that come to the masjid, and the first thing we ask them is, where did you get married at? So if they got married at another masjid, we try to instruct them to go back to the masjid that they came from.
Exactly, you're right.
Now, if they got married by somebody, maybe, getting married in Islam is so easy that, people can do it basically in their homes. And in those cases, how do we handle that when really the person that married him, he just married him, but he didn't give him any counseling, and I had knowledge enough to even deal with their issues?
I think all what we can do to enlighten the people, and like I said, Islam establishes knowledge. You could not be doing things in the Islam in ignorance. You have to learn, you have to study, you have to be educated, you have to know your rights, you have to know your obligation. Regardless whatever that you're planning to do, you could not go into things and you don't know what Islam saying about it. So those people who have around the corner marriage, this is their problem. And I will advise every sister who hears my voice today, do not get married without a guardian. This is a person like exactly you going to the courthouse without a lawyer. You are not equipped to understand the language of the judge and the other lawyer, and you are not equipped to understand all this. This is their professional. And the guardian also has to understand they have obligations. They have to stand for their job. So those people who go around the corner and get married in the absence of wali or the legal guardian, this is their problem. Whenever they have problem, turn them back again to the corner. Tell them go where you came from. That's it.
All right. I have a question for you. In regards to when a man and a woman get a divorce, what is the length of the relationship that the ex-man and woman have with one another in regards to the children? For instance, if Brother Muhammad has 3 children, and him and Sister Khadija divorced. What is the length of their relationship in regards to those 3 children?
The relationship is forever, regardless if you're talking about custody or visitation. Even after the children grow up and they get married, they have the children. This family relationship, under no case, for no reason to stop. You still have to love them, respect them, and cherish them, and be kind to them, and advise them, and look after them. It's not because divorce takes place, now the wife owns these children, or the husband, the father owns these children. The relationship has to continue, and the fathers and the mothers, they have to always try to do the best for their children, not let them suffer because what happened.
So is it permissible for that man and woman to still communicate under the guidelines for the sake of the children?
Of course.
Many times you hear the women say, well,
You have to talk to my...
you have to talk to my husband.
It's fine, you understand, but it can be in the presence of her husband, because in actuality, yes, the father doesn't have anything to do with this woman anymore. She is not his wife, okay? And nothing, no privacy can be. But if there is something that you need to hear from her, or need her opinion, there is nothing wrong to ask her husband, I would like to visit you tonight, or come over your house for a cup of tea to discuss such a problem concerning the kids, okay? Because, to be honest with you, sometimes he's not aware about what the difference is. He doesn't know what you need or what. So every time he's going to hear from you and go back to her, he go back to her, he come back to you, and there is many miscommunication happening as a result of this. So yes, he doesn't have the right to go knocking in her door, her ex-wife's door, talking to her, okay? Because the shaitan also may promote some evil, and he start the conversation take another avenue or another turns, okay? So there is nothing wrong to have a meeting, family meeting between the present husband, the ex-husband, and the wife to discuss the affairs of the children. Simple like this.
This is something that Islam encourages, because
We have to take care of the children. We could not let the innocent children get lost because disagreement or dispute between these 2 adults. We have to continue doing the best for their growth.
We have a question that was called in from your website, www.adley.net, and that question is, if a woman had a child before she accepted Islam, this child was born out of wedlock.
Okay.
The question is, what right does the husband, does the father of that child have, right?
You're talking about boyfriend, ex-boyfriend.
Ex-boyfriend, or...
He has no right over him. It's not his son. It's not his son. It is her son, and the man has nothing to do with him. Okay, he's not obligated otherwise.
Right.
Now, if they want to work something for the benefit of this child, it's fine. But according to Islamic law, the man has nothing to do with this child because it's not his child. It didn't come from lawful relationship. Right. And we're not blaming him or blaming her now, because before Islam, the moment you take Islam erases all the previous sin. You are not responsible about what happened before. Neither it is the fault of this child. But we're saying that this children came out of wedlock is not the man's child.
So that issue of when a woman gets married, remarried, the issue of, the child, him having rights over that child, that doesn't exist.
Now, are you talking about a different question now, different scenario, or are you still talking about the same system?
Well, the same system. If both of them are Muslim,
okay,
and maybe this child was born before they actually got married, maybe they got married later.
Okay.
Does that father have a right?
He doesn't. He's not his child.
Right. So that's why I was asking.
It's not his child. Okay. He relates to the woman, not to the man. We attribute him to the woman, not to the man.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I think we should explain that one more time so the listening audience can be clear, because someone may hear that and say, I got a child and I had no obligations to that child.
It's not his child. We're talking about Islamic law now. We are not talking about American law.
Right, but many times we have.
You want to go and be nice to him, you want to send him some gifts, you want to send him to school, it's fine. Nobody's stopping you to do any good deed. Even you make a good deed for animals, you'll be rewarded for it, alright? So it's nobody stopping you to do a good deed. But to demand or to say, this is my child, no, it's not your child.
Right.
Okay.
Let me ask this question, because, when you look at the marital, a lot of the marital problems come from, we know what the Islamic rulings are on a lot of things. For instance, a man being required to take care of his wife, right? Providing maintenance.
It's a must. It's not to understand.
No, but I'm saying, right. So, and let's say the sister works, in America, almost like to really survive, the husband may work and the wife may work.
Okay.
Right. Does that give her more leverage in the marriage where she can, because in America, it's 50-50.
Yeah, everything is 50-50. Even the leadership became 50-50, and this is the reason we have all these divorces. You see, let me tell you the bottom line, Akhi. If we want to be a Muslim, we're going to accept Islam at all times, at all places, at all occasions, okay? You could not be Muslim half-half. Okay, I pay the rent, you pay the phone bills, okay, now leadership in the house half-half. Islam say, Allah saying, ادخلوا في السلم كافة. Enter Islam in totality. Don't enter Islam only by going to the mosque and your economics according to the kuffar. This is totally wrong. Don't enter Islam the way how you dress, hijab and khimar and face veil, and after this when it comes about marriage and surrender and being obedient to your husband, you don't want to do it. So this is one of the main problems that bring about a lot of divorces. The sister is not, some sisters is not willing to be a wife, to be obedient to her husband. And the bottom line, this is the key of success in any marriage and keeping marriage. We have to have one leader, one imam. You could not have two drivers in the same car. So in the house, there is one person in charge. It's going to be the man or the woman. But both of you wearing the pants at the same time, two cooks in the kitchen will burn the meal. Okay? This is it. And who will be, we are not going to make you understand like Kaslat and say, okay, if it's your name, you be the leader today, I'll be the, no. Allah gives the leadership for the man, regardless. Okay? Not because she's working now, she's going to say, okay, you make decision about the kids, I make decision about the living room and the kitchen. It doesn't go like this. One person in charge, okay, one leader, one imam leading the salah. So we say Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, الرجال قوامون على النساء. Men are in charge of women. By all means and all ways, Allah gives it. The problem comes as a result of a woman trying to grab the pants from the man. She wants to be the one who say what goes in the house. There is nothing wrong for consultation, okay? That you can ask your wife sometimes or most of the times, or if you want to even ask her at all times, hey honey, what do you think about this? I'm thinking to do this, what do you think about it? There's nothing wrong, okay? But the final statement and the final decision and the person who is going to lead, okay, this small unit is the husband. So if you're going to marry a man and you don't think he's a man enough for you, and you're willing to submit yourself to him because it's the order of Allah and make him the final decision, you better examine him before you get married. If you don't think this is enough man for you to listen to him, so why are you getting into this marriage? What, you don't like what I'm saying? This is the reality, Mr. Jihad. I see you smiling. Why you don't like what I'm saying?
I didn't say nothing. Okay. I'm in total agreement, but I was just, thinking back to what Abdul Rahim had mentioned.
Right.
As far as, I don't think that most of the men, or majority of the men, have a problem. Most men understand it's you have to take care of your wife and your family. You have to do that.
Yes.
Today, in today's society, I know that Almighty God, Allah, knew the situation that most men would be in. But you might have a man who's making $24,000 a year, and he just cannot afford to do everything in the home that needs to be done. And his wife may have to say, you're killing yourself working 4 to 5 jobs. Let me contribute and help you.
Fine. We appreciate any donation, man, but it doesn't in return you're going to be the upper hand or the boss or wear the pants, whatever it is. Whatever you donate for the sake of Allah, for the pleasure of Allah.
Right.
Okay? Acceptable, and may Allah bless you for your good blessings, but this doesn't mean now we share a responsibility, but we are not sharing a leadership in a sense that, okay, in a weekend you're the boss, weekdays I'm the boss. It doesn't work like this. Like I said, don't drive a car with two drivers. Otherwise, we're going to get in an accident. We don't have the car, neither we have our life. We're going to damage everything. Damage the car, damage your life, your health, everything. One boss, one leader. Okay? And let me tell you also, with you in many cases, dealing with family consultation and marriage problems, I know that there is many brothers, and I'm very sorry to say this, they are not standing for their responsibility. They are not putting themselves in the position which Allah has put them. They don't know even how to lead themselves. So how are they going to lead somebody else? And this is the reason I'm saying to the sisters, if this man, when you interview him, the first meeting, if you don't think he's a man enough for you, that you're not willing to listen to him, to make him your boss, your manager, you better don't get into this marriage, or it's going to be a lot of problems. You have a call, sir.
Right. Before we go to the call, we got two more questions from online. The first question is the woman is happily married to her husband, and she wants to know, how does she maintain the harmony of their marriage?
Be sweet for him. Be there for his nose, for his eyes, for his ears. Okay? That means try to see how to make him happy. Use all the means and all ways and all capabilities that Allah gives you to make him happy. Watch for his eye, watch for his nose, watch for his ear. That means don't let his eye fall into something that he doesn't like in you or in the house or in the children. Don't let his ear hear something that will disturb him. You see, same thing about his nose when he's with you, especially intimately, okay? You have to be concerned about these things. And of course, that the dua and being a beautiful and good woman, listening to him, this will continue the happiness and will bring about more blessings to the house. Be for him, like some say in Arabic, is saying, be a earth for him, he will be a sky for you. You see, that means the more that you be nice to him, he will be nicer to you, okay? So if you can be the earth which he walked on it, he will be the heaven or the sky which will shelter you.
That's a very good answer.
I hope the women are writing that part down.
But also, let the men write down the part about
here is from the mouth of the horse directly.
Yeah, and also the men have to realize
we had the mosque was back wall to wall. I had to go all the way in the corner. I could not even have a spot for myself. So we invite you to come tonight at 6:30 and listening direct from the mouth of the sheikh, not the horse.
Right. But also, before I go into that question, the men also have to listen to the other part of him standing up and being responsible. And then all that stuff falls into place. The second question is, can a single woman adopt a child that may be from a war-torn country like, let's say, Afghanistan? What is the ruling of adoption in Islam, and whether or not that's permissible?
Like I said, Islam encourages all good deeds. Even not only to human beings, even to animals. But adoption in Islam acceptable with the correct understanding that you do not change the name of that child. That will be a confusion, okay? So if there's a child, Daniel Brown Adley, you could not understand now changing him to somebody else. This child has to understand that this man is not his father, this woman is not his mother. Don't say, okay, my daughter could not marry this boy because I adopted him and this is her brother. No, he's not her brother. Also, when you die, this child could not inherit you because he is not your blood brother. You see? So he's not your blood son. So adoption in a sense is that you're taking care of a child, raising him, taking care of him, educating him. It's fine, it's a good deed, you'll be blessed for it. But don't change his last name or his tribe name or his family name. Don't treat him as if he exactly. So when he grows, you're going to have to cover in front of this boy if he's a boy, because he's not your son.
along with, what about your daughters that you may have?
Go ahead, Brother Bilal. Bilal, you still with us? Bilal, are you with us? I think we lost Bilal. Okay.
There?
Are you there?
I think so.
Okay, go ahead, Bilal.
Okay. As I was saying, that some of the blanket statements, just don't really apply. For example, while it may be true from an Islamic standpoint that a brother may not have an Islamically legal right over a child that he has fathered prior to Islam, because of the nature of the society that we live in and the pluralism that's involved, and there are civil laws that also are involved, if a brother were just to pick that up and not determine or apply it to the fact that he may still have obligations and duties, financial obligations and duties, he'll put himself in a position where it really doesn't benefit him, nor his children, nor the Muslim community by having Muslims running around saying that, they don't have any obligations or rights to children that they fathered prior to Islam.
Excuse me, Brother Bilal, with all respect, I'm here talking about what is Islamic law. I'm not discussing something else. If somebody wants to discuss something else, we can be talking about it.
Islamic law cannot be practiced in a vacuum. An Islamic law, as an academic or cerebral subject, really has no application at all.
Brother Bilal, I don't think this is really the platform for us to debate.
There's nothing to debate. The issue is, if you have statements regarding that, then qualify them fully so that when you deal with them, as such, you have the necessary parameters in place so that they don't cause problems, by having a blanket statement without any qualification.
Thank you very much.
All right, thanks for the call, Brother Bilal.
Okay, we're going to go to line 2. We have Ann in North Philly.
Assalamu alaikum. First, I'd like to welcome Imam Adley to our fair city, and I tell you brothers are showing him a very, very good time here.
Inshallah.
I have a question about a khula.
Mm-hmm.
When a sister gets a khula,
Yes.
what is the obligation of both parties, the husband? What is the husband's obligation to the wife once she receives a khula? And what is the process of a woman receiving a khula in Islam?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome.
Assalamu alaikum.
Okay, first to explain to our listeners what is khula. Khula is the woman seeking a divorce from her husband. The divorce initiated usually by the husband, but in the case of a hatred or dislikeness or whatever you want to call it, from the side of the wife, now she's the one who initiated this kind of separation. Although maybe the husband doesn't agree with it, it can even be forced on him. So in this case, since she's the one who requested for this separation, Islam doesn't give her any financial right or any other rights. So, and this is different from the divorce. If the man initiated the divorce, he has to maintain her for 3 periods, which is approximately about 3 months, sheltering her, taking care of her of all needs and wants of during this period. But if she's the one who asked for the separation, the divorce, that means she's the one who rejected this kind of life. She don't want to be part of it. Islam doesn't give her any right in this case, and she can go. Even Islam requires, you understand, in the cases that the husband refused to release her, she will have to free herself by giving the dowry back, which she had received upon the marriage. So in this case, she don't have any rights. And again, I'm telling what Islamic law is saying, how applies or doesn't apply. This is not my job here, all right? But I'm telling you from academic point of view, what's Islam say, what's Islamic law.
Let me ask this question about the khula. Does the woman still have to wait the 3 periods before she can remarry?
A woman could not divorce a man and a man divorce a woman and after this next day she could get married. No way. It always is a idda. A idda means a waiting period, which is different from case to another case. If a woman is pregnant, her idda when she has her baby. Now, if this is going to be 6 months or 8 months or 3 months, still she could not remarry unless she had her baby. The divorce, if the woman is not pregnant, she's going to wait for 3 menses, which are approximately about 3 months. But in the case of khula, if the woman is not pregnant, her idda, her waiting period before remarrying to somebody else would be 1 period, which maximum is 1 month.
Okay. Now, this issue of khula, it seems like today you hear about it more than ever. I mean, like, I remember when I first became Muslim, I never heard of khula almost until like a few years ago almost, because it was like something that, wasn't really done. Now it seems like it's like on the rise. Is that like a trend or something? Is that something that's from Egypt?
Abdurrahim, with all respect, you hear about khula in America more than you hear it in any place overseas. Okay? I lived all my life, understand, in Egypt and lived part of my life in Saudi Arabia, and I toured many places in Arabia. I never heard about 1 case of khula. All what I heard about khula only in the books.
Right.
And I got to see and hear and live these things after I came to America. And this became so much among the Muslim community, and it's very sad. And I think I understand that a lot of sisters, I'm not saying all sisters, but a lot of sisters, they're always looking for an easy way out from the marriage. And it seems that we don't read how much the Quran talks about patience, endurance, and how you are patient, you're going to get Jannah, how you're going to be this and that. So the easy way is what? I want khul. I want khul. Get out of this marriage and go to another marriage. And it's very sad story, really.
I mean, do you think that, because, being involved in the masjid, we hear about marital discord so much, and it seems like the divorce rate is just like skyrocketing. Is this, do you have any advice for the people to, maintain that patience?
As I said, you understand that people, they have to learn about marriage in Islam, okay? And like I was saying yesterday in the mosque, in my lecture, some of us, they think they're ready to get married, or they have the urge to get married, that they are qualified to get married. But how much do they know about leadership? How much do they know about making decisions? When did they ever see any life example in their life to be a father? This is a serious problem, you understand? So it is very important that we start to build our families, set a good example for our children to learn from us. And also that we need to learn about what's marriage in Islam, what the duties, what is the rights. We need to learn more about patience, submission sometimes, and obedience, and controlling our anger. It's not because the moment you get anger, now you're ready for divorce, or you're going to run out of the house and asking for khula. All these things because the development is two reasons. Islamic knowledge and the development of our characteristic and our behavior in Islam. So we need really to learn Islam, we need to live Islam, so we can try to solve some of these problems, because you'd be surprised about how many times we hear about divorce every day, every city, every town, and it's very bad, very bad.
All right. Let's go back to the phone line. We have on line 1, Clarence in Southwest Philly.
I was asking a question when you marry a woman in Islam,
Well, what is a dowry? Do you give them $10, $5, $100, or do you give them a holy Quran? What is a dowry?
That's a good question.
A dowry is a free gift which a man will give to his future wife.
Well, how much?
Yes.
You give them $100, or
Yes.
$1,000,
Okay.
$1,000?
Clarence, we're going to try to answer for you.
Hold on, I'm going to turn my video up a little bit.
Okay.
All right, thanks for your call, Clarence.
Okay.
A dowry is a part of the marriage. Okay, I'll wait for you to turn your radio down. I can hear it from here. I hope you can hear me now. So, dowry is a must. Obligation upon the husband to give it to his wife, regardless if he's going to give it immediately upon making the contract or later on. But dowry is something that to be agreed about. There is no specific amount in Islam to be given, and is different from one person to the other. Somebody who's a millionaire, okay, $10,000 for him is like nothing, like a peanut. And somebody who worked hard, switch, understand labor, making 8 hours, $8 an hour, $500 is a big chunk, big piece of money for him. So there is no any specific amount being specified by Allah or His Messenger to be given to the woman, but there must be something, and there still be. Excuse me. Alhamdulillah. So it is obligation upon the man to give it to his wife, and it's something can be agreed between the husband and the wife and the wali, and it is the full right of the wife, the wali, even if the relative has no share of it. And like I said, it's something they can negotiate it. They can agree about it. Maybe she will ask for $10,000 and they negotiate it and become $6,000. Or he will agree for $10,000, but I'm going to give it in payments, in installment. Every month I'm going to give $500. But still Islam saying recommended a small dowry to make things easy for people to be in marriage, not to be in fornication and adultery. Because when we left the amount of dowry to be very much and very expensive, people start turning away from marriage and seeking other means to fulfill their desires, and women will be 30 years old without getting married, and nobody wants to get married. So the Prophet ﷺ telling us about women who asking a small amount of dowry is more blessings for their marriage, because you have to understand this man paying dowry, and immediately upon the marriage he will start to be responsible about bills and food and maintenance and all these things. So dowry is a must, and it can be negotiated, it can be small amount, it can be a big amount. It's something for the husband and the wife and the guardian to agree about it.
Okay, you're listening to Islam Today. We're going to take a break and we'll be right back.
Listen to In Pursuit of Truth, Monday through Friday, 10 a.m. till 2 p.m. with Reggie Bryant, exclusively on WATT 1340 AM, the voice of the African American community.
Where's the best place to get away from it all? How about on a cruise ship bound for Alaska, the Caribbean, Mexico, and beyond? Right now, you'll save big on cruises during Travelocity's Cruise Bonus Days. All cruise lines and all destinations are on sale, with free upgrades, cash back, or even shipboard credits of up to $200. Book now through July 3rd, 2003 to qualify. Visit Travelocity.com/cruise or call 1-800-222-3690. Restrictions apply. AOL keyword cruise.
It's the good stuff. Right now would be a good time to have some other herbs, because Valvoline All Climate Motor Oil is just $1.39 a quart. This is the good stuff. Maybe that's why more ASE certified master technicians use Valvoline motor oil in their own cars than any other brand of oil. And right now, if you buy a case of Valvoline All Climate Motor Oil, you'll get a $5 gas card by mail. Napa, it's the good stuff. Attention all smokers. If you're serious about kicking the habit, if you want to quickly and safely eliminate your craving for cigarettes, here is some great news from the makers of Smoke Away. For less than the cost of gum, patches, or prescriptions that often don't work, we'll rush you the all-natural Smoke Away system that's sweeping the country, and we guarantee you will be smoke-free in just 7 days, or it won't cost you a dime. Smoke Away's amazing all-natural herbal formula works to completely eliminate your desire for nicotine in 1 week, just like it has for thousands nationwide.
After I got the Smoke Away program, I've never even wanted another cigarette. I smoked for 24 years and I quit smoking in 3 days after using Smoke Away.
Don't be a slave to cigarettes anymore. Quit smoking for good. The safe, all-natural way with Smoke Away. Call now to receive our special 50% radio discount. 1-800-219-2638. That's 1-800-219-2638. Money back if you want cigarette-free in just 7 days. Call toll-free. 1-800-219-2638. That's 1-800-219-2638.
Hi, this is Albert Butler. Join me Friday, July 4th from 2 to 6 p.m. as I host my own program from October Gallery for a live remote broadcast, taking the sights of Old City this 4th of July and experience the power of African-American art at October Gallery. You also have a chance to meet renowned international artists, including John King of the Black Cinema Art Gallery. So join me, Albert Butler, at October Gallery, 68 North 2nd Street, this Friday, July 4th, from 2 to 6 p.m. This first Friday broadcast of the network is brought to you by Ballpark Franks. They jump when you cook them. And 1340 AM WHAT, the voice of the African American community.
You're listening to Islam Today. Islam Today, heard exclusively on WHAT 1340 AM, the voice of the African American community.
Assalamu alaikum and welcome back to Islam Today. You can call us up here on WHAT 1340 AM at 215-581-5186. That's 215-581-5186. Or call us up on the toll-free line at 1-866-746-1340. And we're here with our brother Sheikh Muhammad Said Ali, who will be giving a lecture tonight for sisters only. This lecture will start at 6:30 p.m. It's going to be held at 1427 Catherine Street. The title is The Women of Jannah. Also, we're going to have another lecture. It's entitled Polygyny in Islam. That's going to be held at the Masjid, 800 South 15th Street. That's going to be following right after Salatul Maghrib at 8:30. What time did I say? At 8:30. Now, speaking of polygyny, somebody had a question last night. Now, I don't want the sisters to get no tomatoes and throw them at me. I definitely don't want my wife to hit me. Can a woman put in stipulations in a contract stating that her husband does not take on a second wife?
Yes, of course. She has this right. She has this right. And if a man accepts this kind of marriage, he has to honor this agreement. Otherwise, the wife will have the right to be divorced from him.
Okay.
Yes. Now let's just, but also out of fairness, there is other scholars who said she don't have this right, okay? She don't have this right, but the understanding that if she makes this condition as she don't believe in it or that she could not handle it. If she says that this is not part of Islam, this is not permissible, this can lead to kufr if it's not kufr already, okay? But if she says, yes, I know that Islam allows this and this is permissible, but I'm not ready to deal with something like this, my patient, my nurse, my whatever it is, this is a different story. But any condition a man meet his future husband, his future wife, or a wife meet a husband for her future husband with a condition, both of them obligated to honor this condition, or otherwise they don't have to get married, they can go find a different partner.
So in issues where, you know, let's say in your pre-counseling session that you didn't talk about polygyny, and then later on the brother decides that he wants to partake in this, she doesn't have a right at that point to say, well, we didn't talk about this, how are you going to do this to me? I mean, because this is something that you talk about marriage and discord.
She doesn't have the right, but how you can stop her if she wants to have a khul'a, as example? How you going to stop her? You see, Islam doesn't say a woman has to remain with her husband by force. Everything maybe can work by force except this, okay? So if a woman made her mind she don't want to be, you better let her go before you get yourself in a trouble, okay? Yeah, don't wait until she died 911, okay? Be smart enough and don't let it go to this.
Right.
Yeah.
What are some of the conditions in regards to a man that's already married, and he has one wife, and he's entering into another wife, what are some of the conditions that he must meet?
Actually, we don't want to turn it now to this subject because we're going to discuss it tonight, like you said. But to answer to your question, I tell you about one or two main conditions. Number one, the ability of the man to support his wives, okay? And the second condition is to be fair with them. So if he spend one night here, he has to spend one night here. If he buys just a house, he's going to buy the other one a house. So if a person fear from himself that he may be not going to be fair with his two wives, he better stick to one wife. And also, the condition of marrying even one wife, not two and three and four, not even the condition for marrying a wife that you be able to support and maintain her. Excuse me, because the Prophet ﷺ is saying, يا معشر الشباب من استطاع منكم الباءة فليتزوج. All young men just to have the means to get married. Let them get married, because marriage will help you to lower your gaze and protect your private parts. If you don't have the means to get married, so fast, okay? So a man has, under any condition, he has to be willing and capable to maintain and take care of a wife.
You know, something that I've recently been seeing, a few cases of is where a brother and sister want to get married. And for whatever reason, maybe he doesn't have the dowry, or maybe they just want to, they're not willing to maybe have the traditional sit-downs with their guardian. What they want to do is get married without consummating the marriage, and then, like I said, someday, whenever something is fulfilled, maybe he gets his dowry money or something like that. Is that something that's normal?
It's not normal, but can be acceptable. It's not normal, but it can be acceptable. As example, some people go marry from overseas, all right?
Right.
For him to bring her to the country, it takes time. It can be a month, it can be a year.
Right.
And the possibility also that maybe the paperwork doesn't go. So they will go, make the contract, everything, and say, when the visa comes, and you will be there in my hometown, now we can consummate the marriage.
Right.
So it can work like this also, okay? Because if you already consummate the marriage and you come back here and you're not willing to go back again to Africa, okay, to be with her, because you love America, so what's going to happen? She got her pregnant after 1 week, and now you're staying here in America, and now she's going to stay 9 months, have this child, and after this you divorce her because you don't want to go back to Africa, neither you want to give the love of America. So what's going to happen? So now we can say, okay, you go meet the wali, meet the guardian, meet her father, they approve you, and they go to the imam, they make the contract, everything is fine, the 9 yards, and after this you say, okay, we are not going to consummate this marriage until you have the legal paper, visa, everything, put her in the airplane, ship her there, and now she'll be your wife by all means.
And another thing that, we've been kind of like faced with is the issue of sisters marrying brothers that are incarcerated. Some of the imams at the prisons have basically said that they're not going to perform these marriages, but like we said, getting married in Islam is simple. So somebody else may, perform this marriage. Is that a valid marriage? Even though she's given up, the majority of her rights?
You see, the sister has a right to forego her rights, but you could not make it obligation on her to forego her right. So if a woman wants to give up her right of maintenance, or equal nights, or being intimate with her husband, this is her choice. For whatever reason or whatever problem that he have or she have, she chooses this type of marriage. Marriage has a basic fundamentals, like a guardian, dowry, 2 witnesses, okay? The husband is Muslim, the wife is Muslim. If this condition exists, this is fine. You could not say this is not marriage. But this is not the typical marriage that Islam is looking for. Because Islam looking for a relationship, children,
assisting each other, taking care of each other, growing a family, discipline children, all the things. So if a sister chooses to marry a person who's in jail and she knows that he's going to be there even for life, and she may all what she gave talking to him over the phone, it's her choice. Now, what's wrong with her? Why she's doing this? This is her problem. It's not for me and you to tell her why you doing it. She chooses this way. This is her choice. As long as they did this marriage according to Islam, there is a dowry, a guardian, 2 witnesses. Okay, she goes to see him once a year, once every blue moon. It's fine.
Okay. So now we talked about some of the things that the women can do to, extend the marriage and make it blissful. What are some of the things that the brothers can do to try to carry their end of the...
Get your papers out, brother.
I will recommend it that you get my tape called Keys to Successful Marriage. And also the album called Rights and Obligation. It will help you a lot about your marriage. But to make a long story short, patience and good words, you understand? Women in general always be looking for somebody who be like a teddy bear for them. I don't know if I'm using the right expression. Be like a big baby for her, young. Be nice, be kind, okay? Stop cursing, stop, you understand? The scholars say even living with them in a good term does not mean for you to be patient with her annoyment, but that you be good to her when she's bad to you. You see? And one thing I want to know, and I ask myself as well, many brothers, why before marriage and why in Jahiliyyah, before Islam, everything, hey baby, I love you, you understand, all these things. And after you get married, they became Muslim. There is no baby anymore, there is no honey, I love you. All this became out of your dictionary. Why? What is the problem? What's wrong with bringing some flowers to the house? What's wrong when you come to the house, you understand, giving her a kiss by the door as soon as you step in? What's wrong that you pick up the telephone in your job for a hot moment saying, hey baby, I'm thinking about you. You know what this do to her? You understand? Simple things, always looking. Oh, poor sister, I feel bad for you sometimes, I feel sorry for you. Always looking in simple, kind words sometimes for you to say. Am I right, sisters? Am I right? Yes or no? You hear it? So sometimes I understand occasion, surprise here. She loves surprises. Believe me, women, they like surprises. What I mean by surprise, they understand. They say, guess what? What? We're going to go eat dinner outside tonight. And where? In such and such a house. Woo, I don't believe you. Yes, you better believe it. Okay, next day, next month, next year, surprise. What? What's this in your hand? What's behind your back? It's a surprise. What? Ooh, look at it. You mean you bought this for me? Yes, honey. Wow, what did I do to deserve this? Honey, nothing, but I love you. Understand? I could not help it. Things like this. Be nice to her.
All right. We're going to take a break, and we'll be right back.
Listen to the network with Karen Warren. Karen Warren, Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 p.m.
Community Voice Announcement. The Food Stamps Program provides the resources to reduce hunger and improve nutrition. If you are a Montgomery County resident and you want to know if you are eligible, please call 1-877-223-2662. Brought to you by 1340 AM, WHAT, the voice of the African American community.
All right, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to WHAT 1340 AM, the voice of the African American community. Just 2 quick announcements. The United Muslim Movement, we present our annual banquet. It's going to be held Saturday, July 19, 2003, from 6 until 9 at the Universal Institute Charter School. Guest speaker will be Imam Abdul Malik from New York. Admission is only $20 for adults. Children, the price is only $10. Please call us up at 215-546-6555. That's Building Towards Gender. Saturday, July 19, 2003. This is UMM's annual banquet. Guest speaker will be Imam Abdul Malik from New York. We have time for one last caller. We're going to go to line 1. Hello. Assalamu alaikum. Hello. Hello. One last caller? Okay, we don't have one last caller. Okay, moving right along. Okay, Sheikh, we want to thank you very much for being with us, and we were trying to get this last caller in, and it doesn't look like it's going to happen. So what we want to do, we want to thank you, Sheikh, for calling. I'm going to give everyone the information. His name is Sheikh Muhammad Said Adderley. He's the director of the Islamic Center. He's in Columbia, South Carolina. The telephone number is area code 803-254-7242. That's 803-254-7242. And we encourage everyone to go to the website. That's www.adley.net. That's www.adley.net. That's ADLY.net. If you can get that caller in, we'll take that last call. If you can put them in right now. They got 1 minute. Okay. Put the caller through, brother. Assalamu alaikum. We are having station difficulty today.
All right, don't worry about it. Somebody's out.
Okay, Sheikh, close the program out. With a few closing comments, please. Hello, caller?
Hello, yes.
Yes.
Yes, this is Wajir Rashid from Masjid Al-Again.
Right.
Just to further announce the Family Day outing tomorrow at Worcester Woods at Belfield and Logan Avenue. There is going to be a brothers cook-off, so bring your grill, games for the children, and all are invited.
Okay, thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Assalamualaikum.
Take a minute, and, give us your closing comments on, just how you feel about, not exactly how you feel, but as far as this marital problem and how we can address it, inshallah.
I advise both partners, husband and wife, to be patient with each other, and instead of always rushing to divorce and separation, that you should always try to look for a solution to the problem. And sometimes that's all it takes for somebody to step out of the house for 5 minutes to get the fresh air and come back. Things can be better. And always focus that how much Islam talks about patience. And with patience, we can work it. And I pray Almighty Allah to help all of us to have the united families, and that we can stand together for the purpose of bringing our children and make the sacrifice, because the children need both of you, not only the mother, not only the father. Your children need both of you, so stick together and try to do something for each other. Thank you very much.
And we must make one disclaimer. The show that came on prior before to us, they said stay tuned for Islam Today, who has information on the Nation of Islam. We're not part of the Nation of Islam. We are followers of Muhammad the Prophet from Arabia.
My closing comments is that, the important thing about these relationships is the commitment level. One of the things that myself and my wife did was we made a commitment that even though Islamically divorce is permissible, we don't make that an option in our lives. Whatever our situation is, we just try to work it out, inshallah. And people just have to have that commitment of making that marriages work.
So you're in it to win.
Absolutely.
No matter what.
And not just for the kids, for each other. For Allah.
That's right. We thank everyone for listening to Islam Today. This is a presentation of the United Muslim Broadcasting in conjunction with WHAP 1340 AM, the voice of the African American community. Sheikh Ali, thank you very much for being with us. On behalf of the United Muslim Movement, it's always a pleasure to bring you in. And we have more information if you come out to the lectures tonight. First one at 6:30, the second one being at 8:30, and the final lecture tomorrow being Sunday at 1:30. We have more information for you. Sheikh, close us out with prayer.
سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد ان لا اله الا انت نستغفرك ونتوب اليك. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us all on the صراط المستقيم صراط الذين انعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين.
Ameen. And please stay tuned for Dr. Wyatt, who's coming up right behind us with Dr. Wyatt's Way. Assalamu alaikum.
Ooh.